The open sea is a place of endless horizons and unexplained mysteries. From chilling encounters to baffling disappearances, these real stories from sailors will leave you questioning what really happens out there. The question in detail: sailors, what's the creepiest, scariest, or most unnerving thing you've seen witnessed while at sea? One Reddit poster wrote, "Giant spears plunging in and out of the sea. One of the most terror-inspiring things I've seen are what can happen with some of the loose logs from the logging trade. Sometimes when a big log gets loose from a raft, it becomes partially waterlogged and floats small end up. So you have this 4-foot diameter telephone pole in the sea, sticking up 40 feet into the air. No biggie, shows up on radar, and easy to spot. Now, give that pole 20 years of floating around or so. It rots in such a way that it becomes filed to a point by wind and waves, and looks quite menacing. Now, put it in a gale with 25-foot waves, 50 feet trough to peak, and it becomes a towering spike of death that shoots up from the sea every 15 to 20 minutes, out of nowhere, 60 feet into the air, only to plunge down into the dark depths, waiting to skewer some unsuspecting boat in a few minutes when it thrusts out of the ocean again. It is a genuine, terrifying sight. Rare. But not so rare that I haven't seen two in one season. It's like the spiked dick of Neptune looking for an opportunity to fuck your shit up in a particularly terrifying way." One user replied, "Is there a name for them? I can't seem to find anything searching just sea spear." Another responded, "They are called dead heads."
Further down, another user shared their experience. Not quite as mesmerizing as prior stories, but it was the first time I'd ever seen this. At Tikoken, Ontario. I don't remember the name of the lake. It was flooded on purpose, not sure why. Maybe to create a lake. Maybe to dam power. Doesn't matter, I was fishing with a guide. The air was still. The water crystal clear. I looked down, and we were literally floating over an entire forest, at the top of the pine trees. All you could see was thousands of 75-foot pine tree trunks standing side by side as they were when they were alive before the water flooded that valley. You could not see the bottom. Things start to get even more interesting. Another story comes up. Not a sailor, however, this was at sea. My dad went boating with some friends down near Rocky Point in Mexico in the mid-90s. They went out late at night to drink. It was incredibly dark apart from the boat lights when suddenly a helicopter flew above their boat and the local who took them out shut everything off. Immediately. The helicopter hovered over some water in the distance and dumped a few bodies into the water before flying off. When it was out of sight, the local turned everything back on and shrugged it off, saying, "They do that all the time. Never seen it so close up before." Another user added, "Was sailing off the coast of Mafia Island in Tanzania when a friend's boat came across 3 fishermen holding onto a piece of wood. After they called a rescue boat to take them to shore, we found out it was a ferry that had been wrecked 2 days prior, and these 3 were the only survivors. They'd been in the water for so long that their calves had bite marks from barracuda that had been circling them." Another Redditor commented, "The scariest is always finding unmarked half-sunk boats. You have to check them to make sure there are no people or bodies and report them. Every time I pull up on one, though, the hair stands up on my body as I am hoping there are no bodies. So far so good, but every time it unsettles me. And one final post. One of my coworkers fled to the US from Vietnam in a small boat as a young child. She was one of the boat people. We were complaining about little shit when she explained why she almost never got upset. She was only 7 when this happened. She and her sister, father, mother, and grandfather were in a small fishing boat in the middle of the ocean. They had been out of food for several days. She and her sister, 5, managed to catch an albatross on the boat. Her father said it was bad luck to kill one and released it. She said as she watched it fly away, she knew then that she and her family were going to starve to death. She hated her father at that point too. The next day they were picked up by a trawler and taken to California. She still wears an albatross necklace for good luck."
Check out our videos for more exciting stories just like the ones we presented here. And remember, the truth is always strange.